welcome back to Hunt the Collector with me, Jace. And yeah, a bit of a change of scenery, simply because, guys, I had such a job lifting this into place here. It's not staying here, by the way. I just couldn't be asked to lift it out again and risk lifting it out again to put it on the table. So most of this video is going to be handheld anyway. So, but yes, I've had this for a few days now. So I've had a chance to have a good look around it. And yeah, I've got a few things. So I've just looked at the main thing. Got a few things to cover on this one. So before we go all handheld and we go around this, let's just discuss, because I know a few people want to know, so let's discuss. It's not a nice thing to chat about, but we've got to talk about the price. So yeah, this obviously is the ultimate version because it has the Fell Beast base. I can't understand why you would buy this without that, especially given something we're going to be coming to shortly. But anyway, if you had the ultimate with the Fell Beast base, it is basically $1,500. Without the Fell Beast base, it's $1,100. And I think for the additional $400, you are getting a hell of a lot for your money. I can't understand why you'd go for the regular, to be perfectly honest. I know some people say it's a space thing. Okay, but I think this is a much lesser piece without that Fell Beast space, but we'll get onto that later. So yeah, so basically this is the ultimate one. So $1,500, which is about £1,200 basically. The shipping was an astronomical $928 on this, which I think is £740 if I'm remembering rightly. Now, first off, I had reward points I used on this, which made that a little easier to swallow, but I've always said to people that as a rule of thumb here in the UK, shipping from Prime 1, I always allow around about £300 per box. That's normally a relative figure. Obviously, this has worked out around about £360 per box. Sure, they're big boxes. Sure, they're heavy boxes, but certainly not the biggest nor the heaviest boxes I've ever had, not even from Prime 1. So there has been a significant rise in price to ship this. So it's because obviously it's worked out around about £360 per box, which is, I'd say 2 boxes. It's a significant rise. I must admit I was a little taken aback with the shipping cost on this. I don't know why it's risen so much. It did seem that the shipping prices were settling out a little bit. Apparently not. So yeah, a bit of a thumbs down on the shipping price, I have to admit. Not impressed with that. And then import fees. Right. Now, despite Prime 1 assuring me they would do everything within their power to make sure UPS didn't deliver this, UPS did deliver this. Now, other than the fact that they separated the boxes and the one arrived on the Friday, the other one arrived on the Monday, the one that arrived on the Friday did arrive very quick, in less than 3 days. Both boxes arrived when UPS said they would, in good condition. And the last 2 items I've had delivered, which were both from Lotr, came via UPS as well. I'm on about from Prime 1, so the Alien Egg and the Predator Bust, both of which I was charged an acceptable import fee on. So I was intrigued to see what I would be charged on this. Now, somebody got hold of me here in the UK and said they'd paid just over £400 import fee, which I was like, on the landed fee, assuming they had the ultimate one, is just slightly over 20%, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'll settle for that. It was the 35% I paid on the big chap that's thrown me into such a fury over UPS. However, I wasn't charged £400. Care to have a guess? I was charged £335, which is less than 20%. I think I worked out it's about 18% of the landed fee. Now, whether or not my discount using my points came into that, I don't know. I don't know whether that actually transfers onto the documentation, and that's why I paid slightly less. I don't know. I don't think it does. Because I think their listing fee is standard. It's just that is reduced from what you need to pay. It's not what is then passed on to sort of the import duties or those companies. So Prime 1 kind of have been let off the hook a little bit, because I did say to them, if any of the big pieces came via UPS again, I would not buy from Prime 1 again. But I wasn't ripped off by UPS. It was, I say, less than 20% anyway. So that's the facts and figures. Should we go handheld and have a look at this then? And we will start with the worst area. Let's have a look. Come on, have a look. Okay, everyone, so here we go. So let's go to the elephant in the room, which is this god-awful bait. I mean, can someone tell me what on earth that's supposed to be? Is it supposed to be mud, sand, grass? What? I mean, look at that. The nearest thing I can put that to, it looks like my bathroom mat. It looks like my bathroom mat. I seriously don't have enough negative expletives I can use to describe. That is the worst I've seen from Prime 1. The top of that base. That is the worst I have ever seen. That is atrocious sculpt, non-existent quality paintwork. 0 out of 10 for the top of that base. Whoever it is at Prime 1 that okayed that and thought that was acceptable for people buying this, if you're still in your job, I don't know the hell how. Because that to me is awful. Absolutely bloody awful. When I saw that, I actually thought to myself, my God, this is almost as bad as looking at... Let's see how many angry comments I get from that one. I mean, even the rocks aren't done well. They look plastic. The rocks look plastic. They don't look good. The other one is hidden at the back, but not the point. So, I don't want to dwell on it too much, guys. You can see for yourself, it is as shit as it probably looks on camera. Even the stuff that they've put on, it doesn't look right, it doesn't look in place, because they just put they just lazily just put holes in and that's it. There's no, oh, it's awful. I don't even want to look at it anymore, guys. So, yeah, that part of the base there, it's the worst I've ever seen. I say, it's so bad, I don't even know what it's even supposed to be, what they were going for, what look they were going for. But anyway, let's move on. So the one banner here, I hope that's focusing in. Yeah, you know, it's okay. It's okay. They've put some extras on. I think they could have, again, a bit of attention maybe to the flag on the banner, but you know, it looks quite good. The broken top bit's been done well. It does look like broken wood. The same with the other one that snapped there. Again, it does individually, they look good, and the broken arrows as well. I mean, they've got all the splintered wood and everything in it. They've spent a little bit of time to the attention. And there's an arrow there stuck in the ground, and then they've stuck them in this. So I don't understand why you've paid attention to this, guys. I mean, look at that snap one there. I mean, it looks pretty good, but then you just look down in there and it's just awful. Absolutely atrocious. And while we're here, I mean, look at the armor. Look at the armor on his boots, guys. How good is that? They've even put like dirt and sand, which they've put in areas all over this, incidentally. And the armor and everything on this and the robe. Well, we'll work our way up the Witch King now. Actually, is pretty flawless. I'll say now, it's pretty flawless. So. The armour's been done spectacularly well, I think. Spectacularly well. You've got all the rivets and everything in there. Say they've put the dirt effect on there, and not just on there. You'll notice it's on the robes as well. As I said in the unboxing, look at this here. Prime 1 do robes brilliantly. And again, they've taken the time. They've not just painted this black. They've taken the time to make it look weathered. And this is on the robes throughout. It looks old, weathered and worn. Of course, this is sculpted. It's not media. And look at that on the toggle on the belt there, and then the worn leather, the actual cracks and creases in the leather, and the knots correct. For those who are on about intricate details, I mean, I can't understand why. I mean, there's even like a worn patch there. Look, you know how that wears in cloth. Dirt on areas of the cape that hang down, or the robes that hang down. And the texturing and everything else, and then you've got that. Time, attention, looks spectacular. Jeez. So yeah, the robes and this flow of the robes is spectacular. And I know we're always going to really be going for the one pose here, which quite a few have done, but I think the pose looks spectacular. And I say the shoulder guards here, again, have both been done so well. I feel. And I'll come across there and look at the gauntlets and the armour on the gauntlets. Every last detail. The sword has been done so well. I did do a video on where I compared all these Witch Kings that have come out, and I said then, for accuracy for me, and I went through every last piece, this was the best one, and I still stand by that. And I believe this is metal. There's certainly a lot of weight in this. Now I know one or two people were sort of, we come over to the other hand again, the mace is done so well, the chain is accurate, but a few people were complaining that the mace itself is plastic, which it is, but to be honest with you guys, I don't think it looks toyish at all. I think that the worn effect on the mace is bang on. Some people have said it's underscaled, the mace. Maybe. I don't think it is personally, but possibly slightly underscaled, but I'm not going to complain about that. The thing is, guys, if this was metal, or if they'd made it out of anything harder and heavier, you know, it's already touching these fins or quills or whatever they are on the fell beast, so it could end up damaging things. And I don't know what it is they can get away with actually making metal on weapons these days, to be honest with you. But for me, I am not disappointed at all in the mace. To say the chain is accurate as well, and then the stale on the chain, the handle, whatever you call it, I think it's a stale it's called, is superbly done. And again, the armour is spectacular and weathered. The cape flowing at the back, the movement and everything in the cape. Once again, like I've said before, Prime 1 do robes brilliantly. They get the textures and the flow so right. And then coming up onto the crown itself, I think again has been done brilliantly well. I think that is done brilliantly well. Again, if I remember, guys, I will link the comparison video I did, and personally I think they've got this pretty much bang on to the film. I said in my video that they didn't put the puncture hole on the jaw of this crown, but they have. It's there. It's there. It's not actually a hole, but it is there. So yes, I can't understand why they've done such a good job here, and yet so atrocious here. We'll come back down, because I know I didn't, should I say, the base surround. Now the warm copper effect around the bottom there is actually a lot better than I thought it looked on when I first saw the pictures. It actually in hand looks really good. It does look really, really good. And then what's basically the walls of Minas Morgul, I mean, they're sculpted okay. They're sculpted okay. There's a bit of weathering on them, there. I'll be honest, guys, it's not as good as what Darkside have done with their Minas Morgul walls, and I'm 100% sure it's neither Darkside or Prime 1 can touch what it looks like Infinity have done with theirs. We'll know more towards the end of the year when it arrives here. But again, that there, I think is good and acceptable. The walls could be slightly better, but it's acceptable, perfectly acceptable. My issue is just that ground area. The detritus in the ground is fine, just the ground and the rocks. While we're here, we've then got the fell beast. Now let's do this wing. The wing is just, if you saw when I took it out of the box, it's just huge. It's sculpted wonderfully well, and I love the way it slots into the shoulder at the back perfectly. The shoulder comes up. To the person who asked me why is there only one wing on it, because if you do look at the back, it's easier to look at it on the unboxing, guys. I'm not spinning this around because it only just fits in how it is. He's actually lay on the other shoulder. This is simply just for display purposes, so the other wing technically would be folded underneath him. But that is fantastic. It's just done so well. It's huge, it's heavy, it's sculpted well. And again, I think that the paint application on this, it does enough. It's what it's required to do. It's enough. Of course it could be better. Of course it could be better. But how many statue companies now, sorry, should I say, go above and beyond with their paint applications outside of Witr? I don't think any do, really. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Witr are the leaders in paint app. So yeah, and then we come to this portrait, which, as I said in the unboxing, I had the Witr Fell Beast bust, and I think it's not as good, but it is not far off. It is not far off at all. I think that Fell Beast portrait is seriously good. I mean, look at the teeth, look at the work they've gone to on those teeth. The armor, again, you've got the eye there inside. The tongue looks wet. It doesn't look plasticky like on that, oh, I can't think of the name of the company now, the Witch-king that was stood on the really tall base. What put me off that was the Fell Beast on that. The tongue just looked just plasticky. Sorry, I cannot for the life of me remember the name of the studio. Yes, I think that the portrait on this has been done exceptionally well. And the skin tones and the scaling, again, following the neck round here, the paint application on it, the sculpt is superb, and the paint application is, again, what it needs to be. It's good enough. It's good enough. So overall, yes, we've got areas of issues, concerns, but overall, there we have it. Let me know what you think. Right, let's wrap this up. He does love the dogs, doesn't he? He really does. Gonna have to sort that base out though. I've had an idea. I've had an idea with that. Okay, so there we go, everyone. That's pretty much everything on the Prime 1 Studios quarter scale Witch-king of Angmar. And so, to wrap this all up, to encapsulate it all into one thing, obviously there is the one atrocious area, which is the top of the base. Unforgivably poor. Unforgivably poor. Prime 1, I'd love to hear from you in regards to this. Are you happy with that? Are you happy with that workmanship? In fact, I'll tell you what I've been thinking about this the last couple of days. To show how simple and easy I think it is to rectify that, just to make it look better, I'm going to paint it. I'm going to repaint that. I'm going to repaint the stones, and I'm going to repaint that, whatever the hell that is. Whatever the hell that, I don't even know what that is. Oh God, it's the worst. That is the single worst. I can't think of a statue I've owned that had something on it that was more sloppy, shoddy, and just utterly shit than that. It's the worst I've ever seen. However, despite that, despite the inflated shipping price, so I've had this for a few days now. I sit there and I gaze over at this, and in the morning I come in and I stop and have a good look at it, and somebody said the Fell Beast kind of covers that. It's not the point. It's not the point. But despite that, I cannot bring myself to score this any lower than a 9 out of 10. Because the rest of it is staggeringly good. The Witch-king himself is awesome. He's scaled right. His robes, his armor, the weapons, everything about him is fantastic. And the Fell Beast itself, as we said earlier, even though it's moderately underscaled, it doesn't matter, because it's just there to add something to this, and it does. And it does. It just looks, for me, it just all looks together. It looks absolutely superb. Were it not for the shoddy workmanship on that base, I would say this is not only the best piece to come out in the Lord of the Rings line, in Prime One's Lord of the Rings line. I would put it in one of the best pieces Prime One, I think, have ever done. But unfortunately, they chose to be lazy and sloppy in one area, thinking that the customers aren't going to mind. And we do mind, Prime One. We do fucking mind. So you need to get your act together with things like this. Like I say, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear from you, your reasoning behind that. Are you honestly saying that top of that base is acceptable for the money you charge? Because if you do, you are deluded. Anyway, 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. Would have been more, but I think 9 out of 10 is a fair mark because everything else is so good. And as someone said, in all fairness, not that it's the point, not that that should be the case. When I'm sat looking at it, I can't see that the Fell Beast does cover it up, and the overall effect of this piece is, I just love it. I just love it. I'm annoyed about that, but I love the rest of it. So yes, 9 out of 10, guys. That's it. That's my score. So if you've got this piece, or even if you haven't got this piece, please let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Are any of you noticing areas on pieces you've got where there's shoddy workmanship? I'd just love to hear. I think this is something that needs to be chased up because we're seeing it. I feel we're seeing it slightly more often. If you've enjoyed this review video, as always, guys, you know what's coming. Love it if you'd click the old like button, and likewise, if you haven't done so, please consider subscribing to the channel. That's it for me from this video, guys. I've got so much to go and do now. I will be back very, very soon with the results of the giveaway for the art print from the commissioned Witch-king drawing I had done by Simon Powell. So I'll be doing the results of that in the next few days, guys. In the next few days, I shall have that out. Good luck to whoever it is that wins. Honestly, I haven't filmed it yet. But until then, take care of yourselves, guys. Hope you have a great week ahead, and I'll catch you all in the next video. So from me, ta-ra.